Good morning, you guys. I hope things are going well. Lecture for today. Well, first of all, I hope that even though I did not actually tell you guys to do this, that you did do your reading and writing your paragraphs yesterday. Now today, you guys are going to be taking notes on a lecture, and I'm not going to give you such an outline like I gave you the last time, because it's not as complicated, I don't think. So here we go with what I want you guys to be doing. So first off, you need to go into your document where you took those notes on the search engine stuff. So once you have done that, go ahead and insert another table into the document on the top. So big ideas, and then we want the big ideas to be like that. Our details, our supporting evidence, and then today's date will be April 7th, 2020. All right, and then don't forget to add on your conclusion at the end of the day. I don't know how much room you'll need, but this should basically do it for you. So now for me to grade you guys, I can go into the document that you've already shared with me, that you already took notes on, and then I can see if you have updated the notes and done new notes like you're supposed to for today. So today's notes, I'm not going to have you guys, oh, we'll just take it from here. Okay, so your note-taking process. We are going to start taking notes, and you guys need to be keeping track of your information. So you guys are going to create something called a source card. A source card is going to help you keep track of the information that you're going to need, not only to keep track of where you're coming up with your big ideas, how you're going to be organizing your essay and writing your essay for your volcano research projects, but also for your works cited page and how to do citations, both citations in your essay and citations for the works cited page. Guys should have 8 or more sources for your essay, and that might change. It might be more, but at least 8 sources. I want you to use 3x5 note cards if you have them available. If you don't, we can do it a different way. One of the things that I like about having the note cards is that you can put them into different orders, and you can see how you might want to use your essay and write your essay, versus it's just a little bit more dynamic versus just like copying it down on the computer in a document. But if you don't have note cards at home, then you might want to just do it on a document, and I'll show you how I did that in a few minutes. But make sure that your source cards are colored. They need to have a different color in the upper right hand corner of the card, and you should mark it with an S or say source or something, so then you know that that is your source card. You should be able to identify it just by the way you're going to be writing it down, but I think it just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so if you're doing a website, last name, first name of author, followed by the period, title of the individual web page, name of the website, make sure it's italicized, name of the publisher. You don't need to include that unless it's the same name, unless it's the same as the author or the title. The date the page or website was accessed, and I changed that a little bit. Accessed. A lot of times it'll be published, but I changed that, so just so you know. And then your URL, your website address. One thing I want you to really notice is it says last name, comma, first name of author followed by a period. The title of the individual web page is followed by a period with quotation marks. The name of the website, comma, italicized. Name of the publisher, comma. The date the page or website was accessed, comma, and I put that as an example, 3 April 2020. You need to be doing your date with the number, the day first, followed by the first 3 letters of the month, followed by the year, and then the URL. And then that's what it looks like when it's actually in a document. It goes together like that. All right, so last year when I did the volcano research project with my students, I did the source cards. So I took pictures of them, and this is how I did that. You'll notice that I have a couple things that I've changed from last year to this year. One of the things about citing sources is they're always updating how they want you to do things. So I'm just giving you a basic formatting guidelines for MLA. There are other ways to format. Again, we're going to be focusing on MLA because MLA is what you do in English, and for the arts, you do APA in like the sciences and things like that. But for now, you guys can just focus on this. So if you're actually doing cards, this is what it can look like. If you have them at home, I know they might be at school. So if you have them at school and you don't have any at home, don't worry about it. You can do it on the computer. So these are just examples. Another example, notice the S and the color in the upper right-hand corner. This is how I did them. And you'll notice that I put in the HTTPS ... www, but you'll notice in the instructions that I gave you a minute ago, you don't actually have to do all that. You could have just done volcanodiscovery.com/villarica.html. So, just so you know. Okay, this is how I created the document. I will give you guys a copy of a source card page or something, so it will look like this. But for now, you just need to be taking notes and know that this is how it needs to go. So I just did a table. So the top line is the source with the color, and your other cards that relate to this source, you will be coloring the same color. So this is following everything that you're supposed to be doing. If you have a different source, you should have a different color. I don't even know if you guys have had your volcanoes assigned. I need to talk to Mrs. Arana about that, but we'll see. Then another example. So hopefully that helps you a little bit in knowing how you're going to be keeping track of your sources and the specific information you need to include. This will make everything so much easier. When you get to writing your essay, you will not be struggling for ideas. They will already be there. It will practically write itself if you follow this process that I'm telling you guys to follow. And I do not expect you to fully understand it yet. Other types of sources. You will need to use a slide as a reference when doing research. I noticed that a lot of you guys, for your vocabulary, you're like, well, I don't have a list of the vocabulary. But in my very first lecture that I gave you guys, I did Quizlet. I gave you a link to Quizlet, and I also gave you the actual words in a PowerPoint presentation on March 30th. So if you could not access Quizlet for whatever reason, please go back and try to at least look at the words and make up your own Quizlet form or write them down yourselves. And if you still cannot access it that way, let me know. All right, so you're not going to just use web pages. You might have different sources that you're citing. And so I use two different places. I use Citation Machine, which is an awesome place, and we'll talk more about that later and why I'm totally fine with you guys using it, but we'll talk about that later. But that talks about the specific components of a citation, kind of how citations are built in MLA. And then the other website I use is Al Purdue, which is a really cool website. It's for university students for the most part, but it's awesome. You should check it out if you are interested in doing things with your writing. So if you want to do books, interviews, films, pictures, songs, more, other electronic sources, click on there, click on these links, and it will take you there. And you'll be able to figure out how to write up source cards for those. One of the things, yeah, I know you're not going to be interviewing people in person about these volcanoes, probably, unless you get super creative, but there will be interviews that you find on the internet, and you need to be able to know how to cite those sources correctly. All right, so that's pretty much it for the night, or for the day, I guess. I'm doing this the night before, so that's why I'm saying night. And just please make sure you're keeping up on your day-to-day reading and your paragraphs. Make sure that you're doing all the assignments, and if you are getting confused and you're not getting a response from me fast enough, I will get an alert on my phone every time you leave something, a post or something in Google Classroom. So just let me know if I need to respond more quickly or if you're having a lot of problems. And I hope things are going well. I hope that you guys are not facing too many struggles with this whole staying at home, which might extend till the end of the school year now. And please let me know if you need anything. Have a good day, you guys. Bye.